Alright, welcome to the 4th week, which is also the last week before I take a deload. And this week definitely had its ups and lows. It both had the best training sessions in this blog, but also the by far the worst training session. But yeah, let's start with the first day. I worked up to a 3 rep max in the snatch. With the 110 I was a bit sloppy. Because I think I just didn't took it serious enough. But I loaded 115, which maybe already was a PR. I'm not sure with these rep PRs, especially in the Olympic lifts. But it could have been the first time that I tripled 115. Yeah, and this set was pretty good. And then I just thought I just load 118, which would be definitely a PR, because there I'm very sure that I never tripled anything more than 115.
Ganz schlecht, den mache ich nochmal.
Durchziehen. Lang machen. Hüfte vor.
And I was very pleased with this set. It was very awesome how good I stayed technical, and especially in the 3rd rep it's very good how I'm extending and keep on pulling the bar. So very good PR for me, because I'm usually not that good at triples in the snatch.
Hüfte vor.
And then I did the clean +2 jerks complex and also worked up to a max there. The 140 were okay-ish, I would say. And the 145 felt a bit better, but my feet slipped very hard because there was a powerlifting meet in our weightlifting club and they like to use baby powder before their deadlift attempts. Yeah, and when the platforms is full of baby powder, of course, it's very slippery. Yeah, and 150 is a very good weight for me for this complex. I think I have done 151 in this complex, and that was definitely grindier than the 150 I did there, so that's pretty cool. And then I wanted to hit a 2 rep max in the front squat with 170, and with these bigger squat sets I usually really try to focus and get my adrenaline up before the lift, but I really felt how it was just not possible this day. I don't know, I was standing there, tried to focus, but my heart wasn't racing like usual when I hit a big squat. So unfortunately, after I hit the first rep I knew this was not going to be a double. So I did 2 singles and the second single was then super heavy. A bit of a fail, but also like not that bad, because it's like 95% of my best front squat. And I hit the 180 when I completely peaked only the front squat. I didn't do any Olympic lifts at that time. And also in the session where I did the 180 I was rested and I did no like heavy snatch triples and a heavy clean and jerk complex beforehand, so it's still a good weight to do 2 singles with. And then on the next day I tried to hit 100 kilograms for 2 in the overhead press, but unfortunately I just couldn't get my head through. I don't know if it was a strength issue or a skill issue. But after that I did 85 kilograms for 4 sets of 5, which I have never done before, so still a good day. And then in the pull-ups I had a super good day. I'm now heavier than ever before, I think. I'm 95 kilograms right now in the morning, and I did 15 pull-ups in the first set, and after that I did 5 sets of 10. So yeah, surprisingly good pull-up strength right now. And then on the next day I worked up to the complex with 2 snatches and 2 overhead squats. I first did 2 sets at 100 and then tried 110. And yeah, I just call it now a PR. I never did the complex before. But yeah, in this training block I didn't succeed to do more than that. Sometimes I even failed 107 and so on. So 110 is good for me, especially the overhead squats were the problem for me. But also I was pleased how these snatches felt. And then there was a bit of a fail. I actually drove to the weightlifting club because I wanted to do jerks off blocks. But unfortunately they were in use the whole time, especially by like a OG of the club. And the only thing he can do nowadays is stuff off the blocks. And then of course I just did the jerks off the rack, which are unfortunately like the worst variation for me to do jerks. My jerks feel the best when it's just after a clean, the second best off the blocks, but off the rack is just very, very difficult for me. Not only because of the re-rack, but already the first rep, you always feels already super heavy. And I did some doubles at 140 and then tried 150, which I failed, and I just thought, okay, screw it. I hoped I could do 153 for a 3 kilogram PR last week. I did 150 for 3 of the blocks, but it is what it is. It's all good. And I continued with the naked pause back squats, which I did 150 for 4 sets of 5. So again, a set and rep PR. Yeah, I feel very strong in this variation, and it really is one of my favorite squatting variations because it's just not as complicated as the normal squat. There isn't that much technique involved, and it just feels like the work you are doing just has to pay off. Like getting stronger in this variation and getting stronger like this in this deep squat with no support from sleeves and no belt and so on, and really pushing from there actively with the quads is just an awesome variation. Yeah, super stoked about hitting 154, 4 sets of 5. And now we come to the worst training session of this block and probably of this whole year. You can already see with the 110 something is off. I'm way slower. There's nothing coming from the hip. And then I tried 117, which I already failed, and now it's getting very stupid because sometimes I'm also just very childish and I can't accept a bad day, which is very dumb. But I just loaded 122 again for a 1 kilogram PR from last week and almost killed myself. I almost thought about not including it in the video because I honestly was a bit embarrassed because I literally had no business attempting it. Like the 117, it wasn't like, oh, it feels light, but I missed it. It was just heavy and I was just slow. It was just what it is, so I don't know. And then I just worked up to 135 in the clean, and I, like in the past, sometimes I have very bad days in the Olympic lifts and still am able to stay on track in the squat and just maybe even hit a PR. But in the warm-up I already felt my back got tighter and tighter. I already felt that in the snatches and the cleans, but it just got worse, especially the walkout was already very painful. But I still decided to load 196 for a 1 kilogram PR for a back squat triple.
I'm tired, boss.
And yeah, unfortunately I started to descend and I just had big tightness in the back and just decided to cancel the whole training there. If any training is okay to be this bad, it's the last training before a deload. So the deload is timed perfectly, you could say, but yeah, still the training sucked. It's always a very bitter pill to swallow. And of course, like after such a session, I just think, oh my god, I will not hit 300. Just the usual mental breakdown you guys probably also know. But yeah, like now editing the whole week, the week itself was good, and now I just take the deload and we will just see how I feel the week after that. I will still do a video about the deload week. Maybe I can put some other interesting stuff in there, and we will see us next Sunday.
Kom. Ge durch.